Mop. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of the live viewers out there. Hello, Molly. Hello, Lindsay. And hello to the replay viewers. And hello, Gemma.
Hey.
What is going on?
Not a lot. We're good. It's all good.
So good. We
All
have
good.
a fun episode today.
Yes, very much.
Bunnies, rabbits.
Yeah, rabbits.
Today we're doing a guest interview with a good friend of ours, Miss Ella the bunny mom. And she has a really cool story uh, about stress in the workplace and how she decided, well, you know what? I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to let her tell you. So let's bring on our guest and everybody say hello to Miss Ella. Say hi, Ella.
Hi, Ella.
How are you today, Ella?
I am fantastic. I'm seeing like all our friends on in the comments. Thank you.
Yes, everybody's here. Hello, Des. We got Molly. We got everybody here. Dina D, of course.
Dina D. My voice coach is here. I'm not singing today. No, I
TJ.
mean not singing. Not singing during the next hour.
How's the hand doing?
How is the who?
Your hand from the YouTube.
Oh, you want me to show the knuckle that I busted?
Sure.
It's not the thumb. It's not the pinky.
Oh boy.
It is not my ring finger. It's not my index finger either. Oh, yeah, that one, Bo.
Bo's got it.
Yes,
so,
he wins the grand prize.
so without further ado, shall we get into tonight's topic?
Sure.
So, what I'd like to do is have Ella kind of share a little bit of her story coming up and through the corporate world and everything, and how stress played such a major role in a decision that you made along the way, correct? About changing directions and following a passion. Is that fair to say?
Yes, we call that a career pivot.
A career pivot. All right, well, take it away, Ella.
Hello again, gang. Replay viewers. Most of you guys know me as Ella the Bunny Mom. But before this current life that I have, I used to be in the corporate technology world. Ever since I graduated from school, I worked for the local utility company and then the jeans people, Levi, for over 10 years. And then after that, a couple other tech companies, and then finally a bank. I had my longest tenure at Levi, and why did I leave? Towards the end, I personally was not treated badly, but the company has, during the year, my last year there, the company has gone through a lot of restructuring. And we know what that term restructuring actually means, right?
There's a lot of layoffs and
Yes. Because they don't want to call it downsizing because that'll just make people panic. So I saw some of my best friends got let go. There were many afternoons of helping people pack up their stuff and load up their car. And some of these people have been with the company for upwards of 15 to 20 years. So that kind of wore on me a little. I decided at that point that, well, you guys know that I'm kind of hard headed. I kind of decided that no one else is gonna like determine my fate. So I started looking for another job and handle my papers. So I did. And then that's when I went to Cisco in Milpitas. Oh, and then part of the other stress is not really just from work. My dad passed away like the last 5 years or so I was with Levi. So I was carrying a little bit of the never quite resolved kind of grieving
Mm.
into a career that requires me to be always on. Um, and that's the other part of my tech career. Even when I personally didn't have to be on call and answer to like the high severity issues, um, my group had to. And whenever they have to wake up, I wake up because I report up to the executives. And then every morning we used to have an operations meeting at about 7 because the data center is in Dallas. So they're 2 hours ahead. And the management, like, like the director and up level, they meet at 9 o'clock their time, 7 mine. Um, so I left Levi carrying a little bit of that, but I found a job right away. So it wasn't an issue about whether or not I could find anything. Um, but after being at Cisco for about a year or so, um, these anxiety type of symptoms started creeping up more and more. I thought it was only the dad thing causing me to not deal with um, work stress as well as I once did. I mean, we just never faced us. Oh, call, okay, get up. Bring up your computer, fix what we gotta fix, and then we tell each other, sleep fast before the phone rings again, or before we have to wake up for our 7 o'clock meeting. Um,
Always on the move.
yeah, and my dad required 7 by 24 care too. I mean, my mom took that, but my dad's issues usually get more severe at night, as a lot of other conditions are. And he was a stroke patient, so every time something goes wrong, it's like immediately almost life threatening.
Mm.
So switched jobs, went to Cisco. Symptoms came back up again, like the heart racing, the not quite being able to sleep, even worse, um, not wanting to eat. And the only way I knew how to cope was really to work more.
That is a common masking thing. Like I was doing that myself when I
Mm.
was trying. I was actually using work to try and not drink. I
Yeah,
knew
I mean,
it was a safe
similar.
place.
Yeah, because I knew exactly what I was doing there. In that place, in that space, I don't have to deal with any of the cobwebs, the BS that's kind of like
You don't have to deal with
compartmentalized.
life outside.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and most of work can easily be controlled, or so I thought.
Mm.
Um,
So,
so the first disability break came from around like the end of my Cisco gig.
and how long were your work days? At these first two. It sounds
Um,
like it was more than an 8-hour day.
yeah.
Mm.
Um, I reported to a boss in Singapore during my last 2 or 3 years at Levi. So um, it is what, like a 10-hour difference?
I have no idea.
So a lot of times I have to stay late because that's when her day starts.
Oh,
We do kind of have to meet face to face via video every now and then. Um, so on top of the being on call all the time, I had to do that too. And then similar for Cisco, not as much. So that was part of the reason why I took the Cisco job. But unfortunately, that job took me 60 miles away from home, which means in Bay Area traffic, going home is a 2 hour trip. So that was another. And Austin was still little then. I still have to fulfill the mom duties. So I kind of like hauled my, yeah, Shirley knows, hauled my rear end from the office like straight home, and usually I won't get back until like 8 or 9. Then here comes my first significant disability break, where I just didn't know what was wrong. I was always feeling sick. I'm like, do I have a heart condition? What is this like heart racing business, right? I didn't
Mhm.
really know what anxiety was.
Mm.
What is that? I think my heart is gonna like pump too much and explode. That's how I
Yeah.
told my doctor. And then when he started saying, it could be, psychological. I said, are you saying I'm crazy?
Of
I've
course.
always
Yeah.
been, I've always been able to deal with this kind of stress because it's my whole entire career. Don't tell me that what I dealt with 5 years ago perfectly fine turned into not fine somehow and it's in my head. And he goes, no, I'll just try to find a therapist. And I said, BS. Okay, just prescribe me something. Just fix it. And he goes, well, I can't really fix it right away. And I said, well, I can't go to work with my heart racing like that. I always feel like I'm going to faint, which I did. Another story. Um, so he says, maybe you need a break. I said, all right, let's take one. So I did. The first break was close to half a year. But
Happy.
then, at the end of half a year, expensive Bay Area mortgage still has to be paid.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. All the bills piling up, and I mean, it's paid leave, yes. Yeah,
For 3 months.
for 3 months.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, bills still piling up. Stress is now adding on to the. You're not really
Yeah,
doing yourself any justice on your time off to uh,
no,
alleviate
not
that
really.
stress.
Because half the time I was trying to look for the next job,
Yeah.
which
Mm.
shouldn't have happened because what kind of break is that to have to wake up every day and go, I'm not sure if the old job is really going to wait for me. If they don't wait, they can't fire me because I was on a kind of a disability leave, even though I wasn't paid during the last 3 months.
Mm.
So by law, they can't let me out. They can't can me because of my health condition. But they can reassign me to be like a custodian or something. They can
Well,
do that.
there
Or
is
or
that.
or make life a living hell if they want to. Um
So after your 6 months sabbatical,
mhm.
were you feeling any kind of calm or any did it help at all?
It did. Towards the last 2 months or so, I felt like I was actually getting better and I was calmer. I didn't have as many like racing heart kind of issues. But once I started looking for a job and going back, it kind of like just it boiled over much quicker the second time around. It didn't take like another 5, 10 years for the
Mm.
symptoms to show. I was kind of hoping for that. I thought I got better. I didn't just fall sick immediately and got really bad last time. So I thought if I can last another 5, 10 years, I might be ready to go.
Yeah.
Um, so apparently that didn't work out. So next job, um, my nieces and nephews and my son all thought it was the coolest thing on earth because it was a tech startup with amazing benefits. I mean, amazing benefits. About 5 meals per day.
What?
You never have to bring a wallet. And at dinner time, you can invite your family.
So you're there for long enough to have 5 meals. You can invite your family. You basically live there.
Yeah. I mean, I try not to, but the funny thing is that watching the other employees' behavior, one is that I've seen more than one couple date after hours at the office. I've seen people play Monopoly, Mahjong after hours at the office. And
sounds like my work.
yeah.
I
So
go there.
there's a reason why you were treated like so incredibly well. So I brought my niece and nephew and Austin, like, oh, and you get to ride scooters in the office.
This sounds. Where's the stress?
And there's a band room with a piano, a drum set, all the electric guitars because the owner plays a guitar.
JB asks, "What did you do at the startup?" Sounds great.
I was an asset manager for their data centers. And the data centers are local in San Jose, um, in Ashburn, Virginia, um, a couple more in the central time zone. And they're purposely, like spread apart that way. It's kind of like, part of the failover, no single point of failure, all that. Um, oh, Bo, that means I keep track of all of the company's back end tech equipment. Um, I have to help them with the books of depreciation. I have to help with making sure that because they were building so fast. Every other day, there's millions of dollars of back end office network equipment. And my job is to make sure every single serial number gets captured, that the contracts with the vendors are good, um, that I set up some kind of technical and logistical procedure so that when the engineers fire up the servers, all they have to do really is to slide the thing in, plug in the power. If I do my job correctly and then they do theirs correctly, then really it's just a part of turning on the power switch. If everything lines up just so, a server can be alive in half an hour.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
The mind, or my mind, reels thinking about all that. I mean, you were trained obviously in this art form, um, so it makes a little bit more sense to you. Like, if I tried to teach, describe how to cover up a sucking chest wound, it might.
where are the Muppets? Oh, okay.
That was not a swear word. Sucking with an S.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were swearing with a lisp.
She's that used to you saying it by now,
Hi,
I just
Jim. Thank you for the award.
hi guys. Anything that rhymes with up, I just presume you're saying okay. Where were we?
So you were at your third job now, and how many jobs before you made your grand switch? Your pivot.
There
I'm
was one
sorry.
more after the startup.
Okay.
Yeah, so same symptoms, but worse because the stresses of a startup are completely on a different kind of scale. Not only are you expected to, well, they serve you 5 meals and happy hour, the liquor flows freely. There's a bar, there's a full on bar at the office.
Wow.
Yeah. And I can't, I don't like it. It's not like I'm antisocial. Oh, I could be antisocial too.
I know I've heard you mention you're not much of a drinker, so
Yeah, so that was not appealing. But the bringing the family over for dinner every now and then is amazing. And it is not just like spaghetti and meatballs. It was really good restaurant food. The first
steaks.
day, yeah,
Oh, wow.
seafood, sushi, dessert, ice cream, all prepared in house by the in house chef.
So what at this job? I mean, this sounds amazing, but
It does, doesn't
obviously,
it?
we weren't there. What was it that kind of put you over the edge at this particular job?
Can you
Was it
see
the
my
long hours?
manager?
Was it?
The long hours I was used to. I mean, I think if it was just long hours and similar to my previous jobs, I think I would have lasted a little longer.
Hmm.
But is that plus? I didn't say the firm team, but plus a manager that rules by micromanaging and intimidation.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
familiar.
yeah, uh, nothing like I have ever experienced, and nothing like how I treated my staff. So that was quite eye opening. Um, so I only lasted about a year or so there. Most people think you must be crazy to leave a job with that many perks. I said, well, I got in there for that reason. I got in there timing how many years exactly I need to stay there in order to cash out my options and um, sock away a bigger chunk into my 401k so that Austin's college will be completely paid for. That was the plan. That's why I went in that one thinking I can do it.
Yeah, and one of the
I
things
do.
one of the things I've always kind of admired about you is I've heard you say on numerous occasions that uh, it doesn't matter how much money they throw at you and perks and all this stuff if you're not enjoying your work, or if it's so stressful that it's causing you heart palpitations and this, that, and the other, I'm out.
Yes, if I took a little long to learn, and I kind of dismissed the family's advice, suggestions. Don't do it for the money, Ella. And I'm like, I was never in love with computers.
Mm.
Why else would I be doing this? Um, so I went for it because I wanted to not worry about Austin's
Yeah.
college education. I went for the money, and that's why I advise Austin and my nieces and nephews. The last thing you want to do when you're going to college is to think about your paycheck, think about your longevity
Hmm.
and your happiness, because the money is, that Beatles song. No, mm-mm. Beatles were right. Can't buy you love or happiness or none of that. And I'll
Absolutely.
also say, no matter how much money they throw at you, if you're dead, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's what you were saying. um,
Yeah, I always say things in a slightly harsher Ella kind of way.
so you transitioned one more. Was there another sabbatical in between the startup job, or there was?
But however, this time was completely unpaid because I kind of maximized the state's disability benefits the time before,
Mm.
and I didn't quite reach the 1 year and 1 month mark at the startup where I would be eligible for short term disability. You know what? I take that back. I would never qualified for short term disability. And I think this is a key point for us or you guys to discuss because psychological issues are incredibly hard to diagnose and produce evidence to support my
Mm.
disability claim.
Ah, yes.
You,
Yeah. Like,
people say you're obviously bright enough to work in a tech startup managing their business and computer stuff. Do you need any help with your daily activities like taking care of yourself, cooking, blah blah blah,
Hmm.
and you can go to work?
There's quite a problem there. I mean, in the workforce all over, even in the fire department. And I know I've heard Gemma mention over in the UK as well. Mental health issues are hard to even get covered by insurance.
mm.
Um, you know, so let alone now you're on a sabbatical, unpaid. Um, it's hard to prove, uh, like you just said, with any kind of doctor's notes and that kind of thing. And then
They don't. I had
insurance.
it all. Yeah, because I had to file for that. I was hoping I can file for that first before and if they approved, then I can more calmly take my leave without that added level of stress about where is my next job going to be.
Hmm.
But I think I tried short term applying for at least two companies. I tried the same route. I never succeeded, and I'm hella good when it comes to documentation.
Hella good.
Hella good. Yeah, I wrote
So,
documentation as part of my living. And somebody asked if I had a business degree. Yes, I did. My business degree was in information systems, which is tech.
okay. And that did you go for a master's or anything like that? I don't know the
I
different.
stepped right from my bachelor's into work because I needed to help my family.
Yes. Okay. So,
And I researched what degree pays the fastest most before I picked my college major. Also, not a great idea. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, go ahead.
no, that's it. What So we're at the last job now, and we're coming up, and it's still. I guess you're finding that it's all the same symptoms all over again,
Hmm.
and it's just so we're getting the anxiety is the main, right?
Full on. And
I want to
after
bring up
each, oh, sorry.
I want to bring up this image, and we can kind of talk about it and see if any of this hits home. I found this just looking, um,
Blow
at
this
the
up a bit. How do I
yeah,
blow it up?
absolutely. So like rough, they're just some numbers to throw out there. 38% um, go home end their day with hurting hands, the stressed out eyes, the headaches. Um, Recent study
Yeah.
finding that 90% of doctors' visits are linked to stress alone. That is a huge number, 90%. But
Yeah. But
uh,
yet, they it's almost impossible to file a short-term disability claim when with the primary condition of mental issues.
mhm,
Actually, the first time I didn't even file for disability with my anxiety as a diagnosis. I used something else because I knew it was going to be difficult.
yeah. And
Didn't work.
here's a huge number. Employees' stress results in as much as $300 billion in lost productivity annually.
Oh
Three
wow.
300 billion.
I
That
believe it because it's not. I mean, I'm not an isolated case. And I remember one night. This is like second to the last job. I'm still at the startup. I usually take the train to downtown San Francisco because we live close enough by the station. And when I go home at night, it's usually 8 or 9. I will always like take a little something for Austin so he looks forward to my coming home.
mhm,
The other perk is that they have all these file cabinets like in the middle. There'll be like desks on either side and then a whole entire row of what looks like file cabinets. But if you open them, they don't have files. When you open it, it's like a 7-Eleven inside. And every single conceivable candy, snack, drinks are in the middle. Protein bars.
mhm,
So it's another perk to try to get you to stay there.
yeah. And
You don't
there's
even have you don't even walk across the street to the corner store to get yourself a snack because it's right there.
there's stress in the workplace and the world around. It's something that I feel like everybody out there in the corporate world or even blue collar trades, we all feel it. Certainly, I have I had a good deal of stress in my job. Um,
I can't
or
imagine.
I have a good deal of stress in my job, and it certainly took a toll on me as well, um, and my mental health. I have a bit of a different outlook on it, I guess, because it was hard for me to notice. Like you were talking about getting the full on, almost chest pains and cardiac
Hmm.
issues. Um,
Mm.
Mine was just wearing down at my brain, I guess, and it was hard for me to notice that it was happening because every day I get up to go to work, I am excited. I love my job so much, and it's just it's a blessing. And even 14 years later, almost 15, I still get excited to go to work. But it still takes that toll, um, you know, every not knowing what you're going to get into,
Mm.
or you know what calls you're going to run, and stuff like that. It was certainly stressing me out, and being away from your family for sometimes 48 hours at a time on holidays and such. It snuck up on me for sure.
And the kind of things that you have to deal with. I mean, even though you're excited to get up to go to your job, but your job involves dealing with like it, tremendous amounts of stress and trauma and injuries and worse.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, high stress situations. Uh, you never know exactly what the hell you're going to get into.
Yeah, and you
Uh,
know that your life might be at stake.
how is the teaching workforce there, Gemma?
Um, while I was there, that's something that I really enjoyed. I was very much like you. I loved my job, but the
I'm so
thing that
jealous.
I struggle to bring up, because I was child protection as well,
Hmm.
and I dealt with children that would come to me and tell me that they were being abused or
Oh,
like they'd been hit. The hardest one for me, obviously, like, was to be told that at 9 year old they were meeting their future husband and that they'd been abused and many, many things. And it was trying to cut it off and not bring that home for me that
Hmm.
really, really, I really struggled with. I I struggled to cut it off and leave it at the door.
Yeah,
And I was teaching for very close to 14 years. And in the end, medically retired. It wasn't through choice that I stopped. But yeah, it was something I loved, but also something that caused me a great deal of stress. But then as the years went on and things changed, there was also a lot of paperwork that was introduced, and it stopped
sure.
being about teaching and more about proving the grades and proving that you've done this, that, and the other. So it's not what it used to be, the job.
Yeah. So Ella, we're 4 jobs, 5 jobs deep, and we haven't learned a lesson yet.
no,
But
because I can still do it. I keep telling myself.
things
Mm.
are about to change, right? And we're gonna take a little.
Mm,
What did you call it? A pivot?
okay. No, I actually had one more job after the startup.
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
It was a bank, and I was there for a contract, and I thought, I'll just finish the contract and then rest, and then, I'll time myself so that part of my career during the second half of my life will be controlled, so I give myself long breaks in between. That was going to be my way of dealing with it, even though, I knew that any kind of disability will be difficult to justify and get approved unless, I can visibly show that, my right arm and my left leg is like lopped off,
Hmm.
because they want like tangible injuries and illnesses,
Yes.
when it's just like in here. And I did like all kinds of ECGs, um the kind I did the stress test, like when make you run on the treadmill,
Hmm.
and they measure your heart rate, and then another one where you bring the monitor home. I forget what it was called.
A sleep study.
It was for my heart.
Oh.
Oh, ACG.
No, I bring it home and wear this device for about 3 to 4 days.
Oh, Thomas has had that. It's oh gosh, what do they
Yeah,
call it?
the name escaped me, but they put like the electrodes where
Hmm.
you know,
It
they
is
say don't
still
take it off.
an EKG machine.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, they just
How
like
measure
much
they measure
can-
longer term
Yeah,
straight.
it's a
Yeah.
longer term test to see how your heart reacts over a couple of days span.
Mhm.
And if they
Mm-hmm.
can pinpoint times of days, maybe that stress is more active. But
Mm.
But
yeah,
since it's not physical, again, they don't see any patterns that can be resolved with, um, I mean, like
Mhm.
resolved to root cause with medication. So they just started giving me like lorazepam. I didn't have gabapentin until I got shingles. But yeah, so the last job was a bank. They offered me a contract at first, and then they offered me a little bit more to join them full time, and I said yes. And that kind of screwed up my plan of just working there a year and then leaving and finding something else. I shouldn't have said yes again, but I did. So I wasn't too smart.
it's hard not to.
Mm.
Yeah, so
It's
that was the
something we
last
all.
one.
It is something we all struggle with, though, is saying no.
Oh, definitely. Hindsight is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and
So,
we weren't affluent enough to say, okay, at 40-ish, I can just hang it up.
and all this time, you're not really doing anything to ground yourself during
Of
these
course not,
days. Yeah.
because therapist didn't work.
So it was time to
Um,
find something to do, right?
Mm.
Something that took away this stress, took away.
or I only determined that I was not made for corporate tech anymore after the bank job, and the symptoms after every subsequent job, the symptoms just come back faster and harder.
Mhm.
So like the symptoms like build on itself to become like more severe. So when I left the bank one, um, I thought, okay, maybe this is not such a good idea. Um, and you know how people always say the cliche, when life serves you a forked road, try to follow your passion.
Mhm.
Since I know that tech career didn't agree with me, so I thought, okay, what is this fork telling me? Retire, or my passion was I've always had a house bunny for like 20 years of my life. We've always had a house bunny.
Mhm.
So when that question played in my head, I looked around. I said, okay, what is my passion? Oh, great. I have bunny poop, bunny hair, and Timothy hay all over my house.
Timothy, hey.
So how do I turn that into something that'll pay for anything? And how am I supposed to help the bunny rescues that I always want to? Um, and then I thought, were there anybody else um, with a shop or have part of their shop devoted to um, bunny merchandise? I mean, not stuff for bunnies. There's a lot of entrepreneurs who source make toys and food for bunnies. But I'm paranoid. I think if I source something and it kills somebody's rabbit, I feel guilty for the rest of my life. So I
Mhm.
can't do that. I mean, but that market is big. It's a lot easier than what I do, even though the dollar volume is lower. But there's always a demand, because when you sell that kind, like the smaller like toys and um, little hay treats and stuff like that, all those are consumables. So your customers keep coming back. It's kind of like a drug, right? Because you buy something and then you have to rebuy it.
Yeah,
Unlike that cute bunny on your desk.
I have several of these.
I thank you for starting your farm. Thank you.
Yes. Um, but yeah, they're actually nice for grounding as well. Like you can squeeze them, and
Yeah, they're all squishy, and I'm just like drawn to. So yeah,
so yeah.
that's when
So
I thought I open the shop.
talk about the birth of the new business and Puppy Cat and
Mm.
how this has all changed your world.
Yeah. So I decided to close the door on that tech business. And since I had a house full of bunny fur, poop, Timothy Hay, I thought that is really my passion. What can I do with it so that I can keep the roof over my head and donate to puppy cats rescue? So I thought, well, let's try this entrepreneur business. At first, it was completely online because that's the lowest startup cost. And since I have a tech background, I don't have to hire anybody. I know exactly what I need to do, where to get whatever tool, hardware, software, licensing, all that. So it was very, very low cost. And it was just a little bit of inventory that I have to keep. But what I
Yes.
didn't know was that the business cycle for an entrepreneur who is doing it as a full-time career, not as a hobby, the business cycle is pretty much the same as like a mid-size and huge company, except you get to do it all yourself. um you know Writing business plans, your books, um advertising, website development, e-store, e-commerce issues, payment, all that, and sourcing,
Now
receiving,
you
shipping.
you get to do this though all at your own pace, right? I mean, obviously you still have bills to pay, but it's a you're not under somebody else's watch
Yes.
or constant finger,
Mm-hmm.
or thumb.
So I could, like, okay, by now I'm like, okay, I kind of have a clue now, so I better take care of this, whatever this is. If I don't feel good, just stop it, and there'll be no one to ask where I am, when can I be at work, blah blah blah. So that's much more controllable. And of course, the downside is that the money doesn't not compare, not by a long shot. Even if I if I make a profit for any particular year. And last year was just, yeah, you guys know.
So this all sounds very stressful as well, though. I thought this was the turning point of.
It is like what you said. I don't have to answer to anyone else,
Mm.
and um, like you, every day when I wake up, I'm excited to do what I do.
Ah, there it is.
Mm.
That is the first time I've had that feeling ever, and I mean ever.
Shirley says it's a different type of stress.
Yeah. No amount of money can come anywhere close to your own mental health. And like going to work and getting thousands of pounds, but hating your job and being stressed in comparison to, yeah, okay, not maybe having nearly as much money, but loving your job and feeling better in yourself, that
Hmm.
Mm.
there's no comparison.
Yeah. So even if for a particular year I'm in the red, um, I the thought hasn't really even crossed my mind that I should fold it.
That's good.
Mm.
That's
Um,
good.
Thanks to the crazy years, and I saved up a little bit, so it helps me. It's that rainy day. I had a rainy 18 months. Yeah. So the excitement is definitely there. I feel a lot more um, connected to my cause.
Yeah,
I am working towards something that I'm completely passionate about, and I'm not chasing someone else's dream. It's mine.
that's perfect. And um, I the bunny rescue itself,
There's
saveabunny.org. That
Puppy Cat is right there in his
in
tunnel.
in
Wait,
his
I can't
tunnel,
point. Right.
he hangs out there most of the day.
Yeah, that's his tunnel.
I
And the
mean, he
sun, as you can see, it comes right down. And bunnies are like burrowing kind of animals, so he likes to hang out there during the day. And he comes out and stream with me at night, as most of you guys know.
yeah, and that's the other thing. You found grounding in your business and your bunny and your ukulele and the live streaming platform of Haps here. We
All
have a
that.
good time. That's one of the biggest changes that you made because you weren't doing any of this beforehand, and neither was
Oh
I.
no,
To be fair, earlier in
it
my
was
career,
work,
yeah,
and my child.
you have to find those moments, even if they're 5 minutes out of the day, to take some you time and sit down and read a book or play ukulele. Uh, how has the uke uh, helped you out, other than giving
It.
you sore fingers?
You want to see which knuckle hurts the most? Okay, maybe I'll. It definitely grounds me. I love music. I played the piano half my life,
Uh-huh.
but it's not portable. I can't it's kind of hard to carry a piano with you
Sure.
anywhere. So during the pandemic, I stuck at home. I go, I want another instrument. We used to go to Hawaii once or twice every year, so I fell in love with the sound of the ukulele. Um, so and I'm kind of control freaky, in case you guys don't already know. But during the pandemic, I wanted one, but there was nowhere to go that I can hold one in my hand. So I kind of waited until shops were allowed to open. I went in and got it. And for the longest time, that would be the thing that helped me even feel drowsy without drugs.
Hmm.
I mean, this brain does not feel drowsy. That's the problem. It can't, does not know. The wiring is like hella faulty.
I am fully aware. I mean, the constant racing thoughts.
Yeah,
That
how do you
when
shut that up? I mean, like, shut up.
music is magic, as Brian says.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, it's 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 all a matter of grounding and doing something like you just said. It, the ukulele allows you to calm those racing thoughts and
And I've
get you
met
drowsy.
a group of really cool friends like yourselves. And that every single night I can count on some of you. Somehow you guys worked out the shifts like perfectly. I mean, I know we use it as a joke, especially with Uncle Rick and Molly, that reporting in for shift one and shift, but I am never really alone ever.
It's a
And part
beautiful
of
thing.
that's why I play during the times that I do, because I get to lull the West Coast friends to sleep, and I get to say good morning to my East Coast friends.
Yeah, and you like Leslie saying, you help people along the way too, because not only are we helping you, feel not alone and all that, it translates the other way too. You're helping Leslie keep through her. She was just not feeling well for a couple of days, and she said the laughs we
Molly,
provided. Uncle Rick is a slacker.
I know.
Uh,
Did Uncle Rick not report in for his daytime shift?
I don't know. He might have been watching some replays. We did have. He said he watches quite a bit of replays during the day, but he doesn't. Every now and again, I see a comment. Hey Tim, reporting in for replay duty. But we did have this video you wanted me to show you. Would you like to say a few words about it?
Yeah. So the video that Tim is going to play is where Puppy Cat came from. And that organization is called SaveABunny.org. They're located in Mill Valley, Northern California, just north of the Golden Gate. And that organization is what I primarily support with my business first. With revenue or no revenue, it is part of my steady budget. And I want to give more, but I gotta still watch the business budget. So the awards I get here, if I make a comfortable enough profit at the shop where I can pay the mortgage and have a little leftover, SaveYourBunny.org is where it goes first. And then and then the other bunny rescues, I would allocate either supplies or extra funds come in for whatever reason, then I will spread that out amongst other animal and bunny rescues. Oh,
Right
I'm
on.
not an angel. I'm not.
let me
This is just what I want to do.
let me play it. Let me pop this up. This is the saveabunny.org website.
And this just describes what they do.
This day is fresh and new. There's hope on the horizon, the skies are blue. This day's a gift from you, and I finally see that, yeah. This day I won't look back. There was darkness behind me, but I'm over that. This day I'm moving past all the roadblocks in my way, and it's a good day. What else is there to say? It's finally a good day. Yeah, it's a good day. It feels so good to say it's finally a good day. Yeah. This day is all I've got. I won't spend another thinking about what I'm not. This day I'll take a shot at trusting and waiting. Yeah, this day I'm on my way. I haven't arrived yet, but that's okay. This day I'm gonna say I'm enjoying where I am, and it's a good day. What else is there to say? It's finally a good day. Yeah, it's a good day. It feels so good to say it's finally a good day. Well, it's a good day. What else is there to say? It's finally a good day. Yeah, it's a good day. It feels so good to say it's finally a good day. Ba-ba-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum, ba-ba-da-dum, ba-dum, ba-ba-da-dum. Well, it's a good day. What else is there to say? It's finally a good day. Yeah, it's a good day. It feels so good to say it's finally a good day. Ba-ba-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum, ba-ba-da-dum.
How nice is that? I mean, that is a perfect way to sum it up too. It's a good day. Finally,
I love
you
that
know.
song.
Mm.
Yep. When we
Right.
find ourselves in
And
that place, like where those bunnies end up.
And that's an amazing thing, and you've truly found this passion that you have, and followed it, and and now would you say that your life is in such a much better place?
Absolutely, no doubt at all.
No doubt
Just don't
about
look at my bank account. If you don't, the rest is fine.
it. But like you said, though, money is the least important thing on your.
Yeah, because if I'm dead, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter how much you have, and then you can't sell these little guys either. So,
No.
speaking of these little guys, let's talk shop for a minute. I actually have, like you said, a farm. I'm gonna go big
Show
here.
off your farm.
I
Tim.
don't have them all charged, but they all light up.
Yeah, they still have to be fed with the charge.
These guys, this is a Bluetooth speaker. So
That is my number one bestseller.
They're cool.
yeah, this
If
one's
this
not
was another
charged.
broadcast, I would absolutely have something to say about that. But
But it
anyway.
is a Bluetooth speaker that you can pair with your iPhone and play some tunes.
And
This
they
is another
blink.
light up bunny. And then this is my newest edition. He doesn't have a name yet, but he's got
Oh, do
glasses.
you name your guys too? Like how Piano Man names his Pyrex?
My youngest stepdaughter named this one, just got the name of Bunny. Bunny.
Oh, it's appropriate.
Yeah. This one doesn't have a name yet either, so we'll work on that, and I'll let you know on your streams.
Thank you.
But go to mybunnyvalentine.com. That is Ella's website. Shop her merch. There's a lot of great stuff on there, very reasonable prices, and you can use my own personal discount code she gave me, FireDude15. We'll put that in the comments for you. Yeah,
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, Brian went ahead and
Oh, and Gemma, you guys are awesome. I
Brian,
frequently forget.
does it have to be
Lowercase.
lowercase
Yeah,
f?
they're case sensitive. That's kind of
Like Dina D did there. Thank you though, Brian and Dina and Gemma.
Thank you. Don't ask Shirley to type it in though, because she's gonna give out all kinds of codes that don't work.
She gives the wrong code. But yeah, these are just some of the electronics that you offer. But there's also plush stuffed animals. There's
Yeah, I'm trying to source more plushies, but plushies are they bleed into my profits very easily.
What
Plushies
else
are not.
do you have on there? You have earrings and jewelry. Yeah.
I'm making a batch of bucket hats with the puppy cat mascot in the front and my logo in the back. I'm waiting for those to be done. And it's gonna be in my signature purple. And it's a dark enough shade that it's gonna be unisex. All kinds of stickers. Yep, that is a puppy cat mascot. And an artist in Switzerland designed that for me.
Very cool. Yeah, stickers, masks.
Oh yeah, masks.
If you ever need to know about masks, Ella is your lady. She will.
But just let Tim on a union break, and then I'll tell you.
Someone's asking about the percentage for the discount code.
Oh yeah, so the code that Tim just showed is 15%. That's going to be permanent as long as you guys know some of my friends on Haps. A lot of them will have a code, and you can choose whichever one you want. And there's a 15% site-wide sale right now until tomorrow. I might extend it for another day, but you can combine that sale with Tim's 15%. So it's 15% times, not quite times 15. It's not quite 30%, but it's close.
And the Fire Dude 15 code will work forever, but it also generates a commission for me, which we here have decided to donate back to the bunny rabbits. So that stays with the rabbits and the bunnies and
Thank you
the
so
Ellas.
much.
And yes, Ella, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We are coming up on the hour.
Pleasure.
It was very informative, and I know everybody likes to hear from another human being, that goes through the shit like we all do, and it really does help to reinforce that we're not alone out there, and that everybody has struggles.
And money is not the solution.
And yeah, bunnies are the solution.
And bunny poop.
For Ella.
Yeah.
But as we always say towards the end of our shows, don't forget tonight is Catalyst Wednesday. over on Jim in Chicagoland's channel. JS on HAPS, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 p.m. Central. And then Ella time, that would be what? 8 o'clock?
Yeah.
And in the UK, Gemma, that's what? 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 in the morning?
You can't promote me being up at that time though, but I probably will.
Also, I think there is a broadcast of the Creative Multiverse, which is done by Joseph Burke, our good friend. And yeah, absolutely. What else is coming up for you, Ella?
In terms of HAPS?
Yeah, just our normal. Oh yeah, there's always us in the evening.
The Bickersons, as Molly liked to call us.
Yes, but we have fun. Everybody comes in. Gemma comes in. We can always count on Gemma about 3 o'clock in the morning. That's what I know. When I see Gemma pop in, it's like, oh boy, maybe I should get to bed.
Like,
Sleep
and
is for
I think,
wussies.
is it something I said?
You come in and we all fall asleep. If
But-
only it was that easy. I'll call you like at 10 o'clock every night. Gemma, can you just show up because I need to go to sleep.
It's time to get out of here. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much in the comments. Thank you all for all the awards, and thanks for your time again for another hour of the Mental Health Hour. It's been a very fun one, and it was great to have Ella on.
Yeah, it
Great
was.
to be
Thank you,
here.
Ella.
Yes,
It's just
and
like hanging
Ella,
out with friends, but I
If
just
you-
have to like behave and not poke fun at Tim the whole
Yes.
entire hour. I have to talk
Not
about
this
myself.
time. You can do that. You can do that later.
As soon as we go offline, it's gonna start. Oh
Yes,
no.
no doubt about it. But could you take us out with just anything you could say to anyone that might be where you were in your corporate world and what you would like to tell them?
Absolutely take care of your physical and mental health first. I learned that a little too late, but not too late. Yeah, definitely. And when you teach your young ones too, money shouldn't be the ultimate goal when we teach our children. But mind you, Austin's a total brat. He has issues too, but he knows how to be kind first.
Right. Awesome. Well, thanks again, Ella, and thank you,
Thank you for
everybody.
having me, you guys.
Yep.
Yeah, thank
And
you, Ella.
we will definitely see everybody later on. We'll be back again next week for another hour, and we'll see you then. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.